Hey guys, welcome to the show. Episode 4. Episode 4, Tim.
Yes, sir, Tony. We're rolling
4
now.
weeks. We're at a month now. 4 weeks worth of round 14 podcasts.
I've
Pretty crazy.
uh I've quit jobs sooner than this. So this is good. We're on a good roll here. I
No,
appreciate it.
this is really good. Well, we're really on a good roll. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people know about the big news, but we have really
Oh,
big news. Really big.
huge news, right?
So I'll let you tell the big news because you were the one that discovered it before I did. I actually got your message
Yeah.
before I saw the big
Oh my
news.
God, it was I was right into panic mode. So it was Friday morning
Mhm.
and it was quite early and Tony had already left for work because he works before any of us get up.
Pretty much.
And I had the pleasure to tell him that Mr. Sylvester Stallone is now following the Round 14 podcast,
There you go.
right?
There you go. How much
Yo,
better does your day start than that?
I tell you, that's better than any cup of coffee you can get, right? So,
It was funny because I was at work, like you said.
yeah.
So I see the phone, the Instagram thing and the message. I'm like, well, I'm assuming it's you. I mean,
Mhm.
nobody else really messaged me early. Like, you see this? Oh my God, holy this, holy that. A lot of
Yeah,
expletives coming.
maybe a couple of little bad languages in there,
Yeah,
but all
yeah.
positive, but
So I'm like,
exclamation
what
marks.
is he talking about? What is going on? I opened the picture. I couldn't believe it. I really
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I mean, it was one of the coolest things. It really was. And especially 4 weeks.
No,
Four
that's
weeks.
right.
We
So
got on the big guy's radar. I mean, so
we
that's
must be
awesome.
doing something right, Tony.
I
We
guess so.
absolutely must be knocking it out of the park for Sly to take interest. And Sly, Tony and I thank you very much,
Very
and we
much.
hope you like the content. We hope you like the channel, and we appreciate it more than you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it really kind of, like I said when in the post when I was thanking him for following us, really it sets the level of expectations now a little higher. The show has a little more clout, I guess,
Hmm.
so to speak.
Hmm.
And we have some big things to fill. So we'll do our end of the deal, and hopefully he's happy with it, and the others that are following as well, and hopefully it grows from there. So we'll see. But that was very very cool. I mean, come on, man. Whether you are as big rock heads as we are,
Hmm.
or you're just an average Joe, there isn't a person on the planet that doesn't know the name Sylvester Stallone.
That's right.
I mean, he's been in the film business for 50 years.
Hmm.
Rocky came out 46 years ago. So I mean, he's a living legend. I mean, he
Hmm.
really is, whether he likes that or not. I know he's not thrilled on the
Yeah.
idea of saying he's a inspiration or maybe or he's a legend, but hey, he looked up to Steve Reeve, right?
Yeah.
And
That's right.
Reeves and Hercules.
Hmm.
And we look up to him, and he's done a lot for the movie world, for the motivational things that he
Hmm.
does and says, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody of that stature is following our channel.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely. So
like
I guess in December you're gonna have something else to talk about when you meet him because
you laugh.
we've checked that off the list.
You laugh. I actually said to my wife, I said, if he checks out the show, which
Hmm.
I'm assuming he's going to. I mean,
Yeah.
why would he follow us if he wouldn't at least check out an episode or two?
Hmm.
I'm hoping that he checks out a lot more, and then maybe when I get there, he'll be like, "Hey, you're the Round 14 podcast guy." Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I mean
Yeah.
that's
That's right.
wishful thinking and a pipe dream, but you never know.
But you
Hey,
know what? I think, like you said, he's 50 years, 46 years ago since Rocky came
crazy.
out. If anybody has taught us never to give up,
Mm-hmm.
always keep moving forward, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we just got to keep pushing it. And you might get no today and you might get no tomorrow. And, you just keep believing in what you're doing. And we enjoy this. Tony, I enjoy doing this every week with you. I have a blast. We have so much
Yes.
content to talk about. We're gonna keep moving forward, and
Yeah.
he will say, "Yo, Tony, I can see it. It's gonna be great in
That
December."
would be
And
classic.
yeah,
We're starting to get more and more in common. He follows the podcast. I live in Florida with him.
that's right.
Next thing you know, we're gonna go have lunch.
Well, I can't see why not, right? So you
No,
better
but
pick up that
it is pretty cool.
tab there, Tony. You better
Oh
pick
yeah,
up the tab.
yeah. Definitely be on me. No, but it is very cool. Like I said, I mean, and yeah, just I actually posted something the other day that somebody had a Rocky post on their site, and
Hmm.
their page was motivational stuff,
Yep.
and he was talking about just one more day.
Hmm.
He was talking about his father who was an alcoholic, and then
Hmm.
he had gotten sober. So he had said to his dad, "Are you going to be sober now for the rest of your life?" And he goes, "I don't know." He goes, "But I can tell you this: I'm going to be sober for one more day."
Yeah.
And then the next day comes, and I'm going to be sober for one more day, and it's almost one more round,
Right.
one punch at a time, one round at a time.
Hmm.
Keep moving forward. It's all the same, and
That's right.
it could all be placed in the Rocky lifestyle that a lot of us lead.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, let's just every week we put this show together. Last week we had no idea he'd be following us. Maybe 3 weeks from now we had no idea he'd be a guest on the show.
Wow.
So
That's it,
you
right?
never know.
And you know what? And there's no sense in not trying and not believing what we can do or
No,
can't do. I mean, like you said, he is following us now, and we do appreciate it. But you know, you raise the bar, and now we got to raise the bar a little more, and we gotta.
exactly.
You can never be satisfied, right? You always
No,
got
I
to improve
mean,
yourself, and that's not for this podcast, but that's for life.
anybody, anything,
Mhm.
you achieve what you want to achieve and then you move on from there. Okay, now what?
Yep.
Okay, we got them to follow us. Okay, cool. Now
Yeah.
let's get them to watch a few episodes. Let's get them on the show.
Yeah.
You never know. But like you said, you can't say just sit back and be happy with it.
No.
That's not the way the Rocky life is.
No.
Um, so we have a living legend watching us right now, and hopefully you enjoy it. And we
Yeah.
will do our best to not let you down. Hope
And
you.
that, we hope that everybody enjoys it, whether you're
Oh, of
Sylvester
course. That's
Stallone
what I said.
or
All
you're
of our
my neighbor
followers.
or my wife and kids. We do this. We enjoy bringing it to you. And from the messages we've received on the emails and our Instagram, people are enjoying it, Tony.
Yeah, and that's the thing I do like about it too. It's we've been getting a lot of nice positive feedback
Hmm.
from a lot of people that we do recognize the names on. Not in a famous way like Sly. Other people that we know through the Rocky community. But
Hmm.
I've been getting messages, and we get messages on round 14 from people we don't know and
Right.
we've never seen before.
Hmm.
And that's pretty cool. I mean, we touch base with them somehow, some way, and they like what they see, and so we'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So very cool. Very cool. What
So
else we
what
got
I was
going on?
thinking was, since we're on the topic of Sly,
Mhm.
and we're big Rockhead fans, and he's put out these inspirational movies. I thought it might be fun to take a look at a couple of the movies that we love so much, Rocky and the Rambo franchise.
Mhm.
And if we were sitting in a director's chair, now there's been talk about this, about a Rocky prequel that's
Yeah.
been thrown around the idea on the internet, and even Sly himself has said that
Mhm.
he might have a treatment. Tony, I ask you, if you were sitting in the director's chair, do you have your um, premise for what the Rocky prequel might look like, and what would that be?
I don't know if I'd have the whole premise down. I mean, I could tell bits and pieces of what I would like to see the connection from.
Mhm.
I think going back, like he originally said, going back to the high school years, bridging the
Mhm.
gap between high school and where he's at. Because in the film, he's almost 30. Remember, he
Mhm.
was saying that Adrian's almost 30 and he's almost 30. So, I mean, you're getting out of high school at 18. You got 12 years there to fill. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty good sized gap. But if you look at the time frame, I mean, our country had a lot going on in that 12
Oh
years.
my goodness, yeah.
I mean, so you're going back to 1962 or
Mhm.
64. I mean, I'm sorry, 64 to 76. It's a lot to happen. So I would like to see how, he got involved in boxing at all.
Mhm.
I mean, what drove him to find that? Did he go to Mick? He said to Mickey, remember when Mickey kicked him out of his locker? I've been coming here 6 years, and for 6 years you've been sticking it to me.
Yeah.
So okay, so he got that gap.
Yeah.
He wasn't at Mix until 6 years prior to 1970.
Right. And I have a
And
feeling that somewhere along the line, in the neighborhood he was in, and based on the fight he had in Rocky 5, there probably was the odd street fight involved.
yeah, I mean, you could
You know,
definitely tell he was, like he said,
street.
he didn't have a good brain, so he had to develop his body. So he was
Yeah.
probably the bruiser of the neighborhood. He
Mhm.
definitely wasn't a bully, but he seemed
Nope.
like the type that would be sticking up for the
Mhm.
ones that were getting bullied. And
That's right.
maybe that's where Paulie came in.
Yeah.
Maybe someone was
Yeah.
picking on Paulie, and he went and defended him, or picking on Adrian.
Right.
And he went and defended her. I know you could read bits and pieces of the pages that Sly posted.
Mhm.
It was not that easy to decipher, like a whole thing of it, but you
Mhm.
saw it said his father was an alcoholic. His mother's name was
Yeah.
Rose. And so it seemed maybe the mother was more loving at home,
Mhm.
obviously more so than the dad. Did the dad get violent with him? Maybe that's how he started
Right.
boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's my thought on it. Like maybe catching up on the final year of high school, thinking
Hmm.
about what he's going to do with his life,
Hmm.
and a couple of things happen to come up to him, and maybe sticking up for Adrian and Paulie, or Paulie
Hmm.
alone. I don't know. Maybe sticking up for Paulie.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
we'll see.
I'm sure the way Paulie shoots off at the mouth,
Yeah,
there was a time or two where Rocky had to, step in, and we see that one little clip. It's actually a deleted scene in the trailer for Rocky 3. You
mhm,
know, you know, we both came from the same neighborhood, and I got
yeah,
lucky and you didn't, right?
yeah,
So there is a backstory there, obviously, and I mean the
yeah. I mean,
possibilities are endless.
there's definitely a
Right.
backstory there. I mean, they've been friends a long time. You could tell that just by the way they talk to each other,
Hmm.
and they
Yeah.
are from the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paulie does mouth off. I mean, come on, let's face it. He told Apollo he didn't sweat him. I
Yeah.
don't sweat
He
you, and throws his
pulled
bag on the
pulled
ground.
Thunder Lips. He didn't sweat him, right?
Hit him with a chair.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So you got to give Paulie some credit. I mean,
oh yeah.
he's got some strong will there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that happening. Paulie mouthing off to somebody, and
Hmm.
Rocky got involved, and then the two of them became friends, and he introduced him to Adrian.
Right.
Now, of course, why did it take so long to start dating Adrian or
Hmm.
liking Adrian? That's something you could fill in.
Hmm.
And maybe even I would like to see them touch base on Mickey, even though there's no connection yet.
Hmm.
Like, was Mickey, the boxing community, was he known in the boxing community for a fighter,
Hmm.
for being a fighter?
Yeah.
Did he, how long did he have the gym for? Like, where
Hmm.
where is that happening? So it may be too much to bite off if they went way back to
Hmm.
high school.
Yep.
Like I said, because that's a 12-year gap. That's a long gap. So
Yeah.
they might have to do it a little bit after to a little bit before Rocky.
Hmm.
Um, but it would definitely be interesting to see. And of course, the biggest thing is, do you use Sly and de-age him like they did in
Hmm.
The Irishman to De
Right.
Niro and
Hmm.
and Pacino and stuff, or do
Right.
you go with a young actor who kind of resembles him?
Right.
I don't know. That would be a tough call. I would prefer they use Sly and de-age him, just
Yeah.
because his mannerisms and the way he speaks and the way
Hmm.
he moves and walks, or any of them
Yeah.
for that matter. I mean, obviously you'd have to recast Mickey, you
Yeah. Well,
know.
the other thing you touched on, like I said, with Mickey, it's you could also flash back to when he was in the ring. I'd love to see
Mhm.
that where he put the thumb, the nail in the thumb and punched holes in his cheek,
Yeah,
and
the cheek.
like the wars that Mickey fought in the ring. So I think that would be good there.
Yeah,
It'd
and
be
then
there's definitely a
supposedly
lot
the
lot to go on.
prequel had, Apollo was up and coming in that area. Or not up and coming
Right.
in the area. Obviously, he's not from there. He's from Los Angeles. But I mean, he
Hmm.
was he went there like as at a younger age to fight into maybe
Hmm.
an Olympic fight, a trial or something.
Right.
I remember reading something along those lines where he
Yeah.
was in the Philly area, and
Hmm.
Rocky, they're interchangeable, aren't they? Rocky
Yeah.
saw him and maybe idolized. Wow, look at what this guy
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot that could be done. A lot of, like I said before, I would like to see the gap get bridged for there, and then I would
Hmm.
love to see the gap get bridged from 5 to Balboa.
Right.
That one's a little harder, I think. Not harder to do, but it would be
Hmm.
harder to really want to accept because obviously Adrian dies. I mean,
Yeah.
so
That's right.
that's right there alone. That's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
glad they. What's that?
no, I'm just gonna say I think we both know a person that might help us out with that one day, and there might be a script that could be available,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother show though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly, another show. But we'll see. I mean, it would
Hmm.
definitely be interesting to see. I think a lot of the fans would love it. It's almost
Hmm.
like Star Wars, like where they have some animation ones, they have
Right.
some TV series ones, they have movies,
Yep.
and it's all different snippets of the Star Wars
Yeah, that's right.
universe.
That's
And
right.
I think that would be something any of the Rocky fans would like any snippet to piece it all together and see
Hmm.
how it was. You
Hmm.
know, was Gazzo always the neighborhood loan shark? Did he up
Right.
and come? Because he doesn't look like he's that much older than Rocky.
No.
I mean,
No.
he looks, so it's what is he, 40?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Yep.
in that
That's right.
area. So it would be interesting. I think it would definitely get people's interest, and
Hmm.
it more to tell on the whole story in the
Sure.
beginnings. But as far as the director chair goes, if I had to do it, I would want the original cast. We could
Hmm.
get that CGI young face in
Yep.
there and
Well, they're doing
take
lots
it
of
from
things
there.
with that, so you never know.
No, you don't. I mean, it could happen, or or it could be just a novel. I mean, it
Hmm.
could be a written book. They
Yeah,
might just
that's right.
forego all of the video and
Hmm.
movies. I
Right.
know that he was talking about a Netflix series similar to like
Hmm.
Cobra Kai,
Hmm.
for the prequel, which I do think would be a good idea, especially if you're going to continue with the 12-year gap
Right.
of high
That's right.
school to Apollo offering of the
Hmm.
championship,
Yeah, because you could
because
have
then you
seasons,
could
right?
spread it out. Right.
Yeah, you could have
Right.
2 or 3 seasons where they 9 or 10 episodes a season and
Right.
really get people hooked on it, right? So,
Right, and then you're going through 3 years a season or something,
mhm.
whatever you got. So that would definitely be a better route for doing that large of a
Yeah.
span.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, but it'd be cool. I think a lot of people would see it, I'll tell you that.
You know what? I think there's a lot more story to tell,
Yeah,
and, there's, the Rockheads would just soak it right up, right? So,
yeah,
even
no,
even even the, not I don't wanna say the non-hardcore Rocky fans. I mean, there's a lot of people that have seen the Rocky movies, they're just not obsessed with it, but
mhm.
I think if you put something like that out, people are gonna go to they're
Well,
gonna
I
come out
mean,
for it.
Cobra Kai is a perfect example. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's
there's
right.
a lot of Karate Kid lovers out there that are
Mhm,
like us with Rocky, but then
mhm,
they put that out there and you had some parents like, "Oh, this kinda," I mean, my wife and I are in the same boat. I
mhm,
love the Karate Kid, but I'm not like
mhm.
I am with Rocky with it.
Right,
When I
right.
saw that coming out, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Let's check it out."
Yeah,
And now,
and
of
I
course,
was,
the younger generation.
that's right. I was pretty surprised. I mean, not that I didn't think it would be, but it's the series is pretty good on
It is.
Netflix, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
mhm,
So it would be interesting. Now, as far as your the other end go, we'll turn the tables to you being a director in the prequels
mm,
chair there. Obviously, the other one would be Rambo. And that
yeah.
would be a lot for you to tell there. That would be because I mean,
Well, yeah,
he went into the army right out of high school. So
right.
right there alone, you got that starting point.
Drafted in Nam, yeah. So,
Yeah. So where would you go with that?
boy, there's I mean, obviously I would love to see, his recruitment into the US Army, Colonel Troutman, when we first see him in First Blood, Troutman says, I mean, God didn't create Rambo. I did.
I did love that
And
line.
and yeah, that's a great line. That's one of the greatest lines. And of course, you've got the Baker team, right? So, and I was going over the list because
When
my
he showed
memory
the
is,
picture in the beginning of First Blood,
yeah,
they
that's
were all
right.
in the picture.
So
Yeah.
Baker team, Commander Troutman, right? Colonel Sam Troutman, Delmore Berry, Ortega, Danforth, uh, Krakauer, Coletta, Jurgensen. I'm missing one here. Danforth, and of
Mhm.
course Rambo.
And then John Jay.
So yeah, Rambo, John Jay. So you got the team, and they're at some point they were all in the military, and of course they excelled at whatever they were
Right.
doing. That they recruited these guys to be Green Berets, the best of the best, right? So,
Mhm.
and I mean, we want to see what he was eating that would make a billy goat puke, right?
Maybe we
Like, what
don't.
could he what was he eating? Tin cans
How
or,
bad was that?
like, cigarette butts or, like,
Right?
but they trained him to kill, period.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
They were the best, and he says if, he's the best combat vet I've ever seen. I mean, the best he's ever seen at that age. So, I mean, obviously, we see what he does past First Blood and First Blood Part
Right.
2 and
Right.
Rambo 3, and but to see that team training and then put them together and then,
That
you
would be
know
cool, see, because you can just
yeah,
take it right from boot camp and go on, where
yeah,
how they
and
all
then,
met,
you would
and they
have
went.
them captured in Vietnam, you'd had
Yeah.
them, like, there's so much there, I think, that we could dive into, and again, I'd like to have a young Sylvester Stallone. I think he'd be on board with it. I think he'd really like to tell that story. I mean, there'd be a lot of action, right? Oh my goodness, just the training alone, and then once they went into enemy lines. So I think just to see the development of that team
Mhm.
and the bond that they had, and the struggles they had, and
Right.
then what happens to the team afterwards. I mean, you see John Rambo,
Right.
and he obviously he's looking for Delmore Berry. That's when we're introduced to him.
Mhm.
you know, do we see him trying to find the other members? Because we see him in the cave in First Blood, and Troutman's trying to talk to him, and he said, "They're all gone, sir. They're all
Mhm.
gone." I mean, obviously, we know they lost a few of them over in Vietnam, right?
Right.
Some of them
Right.
didn't come back. I'm not ruining the story here. for anybody. This is
No,
going to be a
no,
prequel, but
no.
like the shoe shine, that one guy was blown up with the explosion, and Delmore Berry died of cancer. Didn't know he had it, right? So, but it's a story of what happened to this team. What
Right.
happened, that he's searching. He's lost, and he's back to the States, and he's trying to find this team, and just I think he's just trying to find somebody, right? Like he's just lost, and obviously the war has PTSD, and
Run his
there's
damage
a
on
lot
him.
of
Yeah.
issues, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's it. And I hate to say comfort zone because that's not what I
no,
mean. Like he's comfortable killing people,
no,
but that's where he belongs was with the
yep,
team,
yep,
and with the army guys because that was
hmm,
his only family. So
that's right,
that's another thing you could touch base on. Did he even have? Was he an orphan when he went into the army?
right,
When he graduated high school at 18, did he have parents? Did they
hmm,
die?
hmm,
Where's that going? Was he an
right,
abusive parent? Or
right,
did he come from a military family
hmm,
already
hmm,
where it was the expectation to go in, or so there's a lot of story to tell there.
yeah.
That would be
Because
really
when you
cool.
see him, in John Rambo, and he goes home, he goes to the ranch, right? Did he grow up on a
Mhm,
ranch? Because I know
mhm.
his, with Sly himself, his love of horses and polo.
Yep.
You tie in the Western, and because in First Blood, you see him working that ranch, and you see him on the horses. And is that where he started, right? Like he got drafted in Nam. Maybe he didn't have a choice. Back then,
Mhm.
they just, I'm not going to pretend I know all the details of the U.S. Army and the recruitment, but maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe they just
Well,
took him.
yeah, I mean, the draft was going
Right.
on back then
Mhm,
where guys got drafted in,
mhm.
they were not going to enlist.
Right.
So again, that's a huge part of the story.
Yep.
Was he not going to enlist and he got drafted?
Yep.
Or did he go enlist and wasn't drafted at all? And maybe that the
Yep.
parent relationship came into play there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things to touch base on that could be for good storytelling.
That's right. But that's I think that's what I would do if I was sitting in the director's chair. There would
Very cool.
there'd be lots and lots of writing. Get the notebook out like Sly,
Yeah,
and there'd
yeah.
be redrafts and
I know
copies,
when he
and
posted it, he
right.
posted it so fast that he did it on purpose so we couldn't see
Yeah,
it.
that's right. I wore at the pause button, and I tried
So
to
did
sneak
I.
a
I was
peek
trying to
there,
slow it down.
but maybe when we have him on, we'll ask him.
I mean, those are his two biggies, as everybody knows. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
what he's known for. That's what really put him on the map. I mean,
Yep.
let's face facts. But there are other movies that Mr. Stallone has done. There's a lot of other movies that
Absolutely.
Sly has
So
done.
we thought it'd be fun to take a look at, you know, like 46 years, excuse me, since Rocky, and all the movies that he's done, the blockbusters and the favorites, and maybe not so many favorites that people
Mhm.
like, they have their choice. And
Right.
Tony, I just I love there's so many movies. I can't decide, like.
He really has done so many. I mean, you don't really realize somebody's, filmography, so to speak.
Mhm,
And you think, I mean, I've been following him since 76, as
mhm,
everybody already knows. I've said that numerous times. I was 10 years old then. So I started watching films when I saw that they were coming out. But now having all these years later, there's a lot of movies that I did not see of his.
mhm.
And it's more so in the 2000s,
Right.
when things went straight to DVD or something, or
Mhm.
they went right to Netflix. But he has so many movies, my
Yeah.
goodness. And then there's really good movies you even forget about
Yeah,
that he
that's right.
did.
And they're
Oh my
not
God, that's right.
it's, there's the people that think, "Oh my god, he's just oh, there's Rocky or there's Rambo," but there's, action movies, comedy movies. He's done comedy movies, he's done
Mhm,
drama, right? So suspense. So
mhm,
I thought we'd have some fun and look at maybe top 10 movies that were not Rocky or Rambo.
mhm. Now Rocky or Rambo, and these are
So
not in any type of order. These aren't in
no,
like
this isn't an
a
order.
number 10 to number 1.
And guys, this is what we thought our top 10 is. If you disagree with us, if you agree with us, leave a comment in the chat. Tell us, if
Yeah,
you
give
think
us
we
your
were
top
right
10.
on,
Yeah,
or yeah, give us your top 10. That's right.
yeah.
So we're going to start here with
Yep,
one of them.
Avenging Angela.
Yeah. So this was in 2002.
Mhm,
Madeline Stowe and Anthony Quinn was actually in this movie as well.
mhm.
And this was
And
a
him
great,
and him
great
Anthony
movie.
Quinn and yeah, Anthony Quinn, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So this was a fantastic movie, Tony. Um, we find Sly as a bodyguard, right,
Mhm.
for a
For a
mob
mob for a
mob
mob
man,
boss. Yep.
who's on his deathbed, and he tells him that he has a daughter that she does not know that, that's my real daughter. She's been adopted. I put her up for adoption. On his deathbed, he gets, Sly's character to promise to watch out for her.
Yep. To protect
And
her.
they don't know each other from squat, right? So the she gets this character showing up at her door, this thug, right? I'm protecting you, my father. It's
Right.
like, that's not my father.
Right.
Other people are after her to try and kill her. Like, it's unbelievable, the action, and again, a little bit of comedy in this one as well, right?
A little
So,
bit, but it was good. It was
mhm,
definitely worth watching.
yeah,
It was definitely, and like you said, it's not a ton of, it's not a blow 'em up, shoot 'em up,
no,
but it's a good story. It's a good
yeah,
story.
that's right.
He did a nice job there.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was one of the ones on our top 10. And then the
mhm.
second, not second again, we're not doing them numerically.
No,
The
no,
other one would be Demolition Man.
yeah,
That was on our
Demolition Man.
list. Yep.
So
Which
Demolition Man,
that one there has a huge future telling story
oh
for
my goodness,
being done when it was done.
yeah, that's right. 1993 Demolition Man. Wesley
Yep.
Snipes, and Sandra Bullock is in this as well. So even
And think about that. This
Jesse
is
Ventura
30
makes
years ago.
that's right.
30 years ago in next year.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura makes a cameo in this.
Yep.
So this is, I picture this if you took Sly, and you brought him to 2022, this is exactly how he would act in this movie. He's old school, an old school action guy, and he's gonna get the job done.
Yep.
There's a ton of action in this and a little bit of comedy as well. So they blow. Dennis Leary's also in this movie.
Yep. Yep.
So this is a
I
great
like
movie.
the scenes between him and Sandra Bullock though,
Yeah.
because they're not the love interest like normal,
No.
but it's because of she has they have different things now. It's
Right. Right.
2032. They have different
Well,
stuff that they do. So
and that's the funny thing, because Sandra Bullock's character is obsessed with the 80s, right? So she's
yeah,
obsessed with it. So when she sees this tough, no holds, get my
yeah,
guy at any cost, action cop, all of
yep,
a sudden appear in the precinct, she's just like dumbfounded, starstruck. She just can't believe it, right?
yep.
And I tell you, this is the most unique love scene you're gonna see in a movie. Okay,
Excuse me. You're
so
right.
I mean, we've all
It
seen it,
definitely
and we
took me
all
for a loop.
laughed about it, and
Yep,
I'm sure they had a hell of a time making that movie. So
yep,
that was pretty
yep,
good, right?
yep. So the next one after that would be Paradise Alley.
Paradise Alley. We
That's
have to go
going back
back.
a ways.
We have to go back to 1978 for this one, and I
Hmm.
remember getting the Rocky Four movie magazine, and they would obviously they broke down Rocky 4, but they talked about some of the movies he made before Rocky, and
Right,
they did an article on this, and when I saw that, this was 1985,
right.
I said, "Geez, what is going on here? Look at him there in that picture. He looks like a thug,
Yeah.
right?" So, but I, really an underrated movie, Tony.
I agree. I agree. It's one of the better movies in his earlier stage of his career.
Right.
And of course Kid Salami,
Hmm.
and actually Tony Joe Spinell, who played Gazzo in Rocky's
Right.
in it.
Yeah, that's right.
I agree. It's an underrated movie. It's a very good film, and it actually got very good reviews
It
too.
did. It did.
Siskel and Ebert and those guys gave it some nice reviews.
Hmm.
Definitely something to check out. I think it was. I don't want to say ahead of its time, but I mean, it
No,
didn't deserve the beating it that some people give it.
no, that's right. And it shows the struggles, right? And like in old New York, Hell's Kitchen type
Hmm.
style, right? They're trying to get a better life, him and his
Yep.
brothers, right? And they're trying to get their brother to be a pro wrestler. And the mischief they get into is pretty comical.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that, like Joe Spinell in this. So Sly in this list, and I mean, sure, you guys put your own top 10 together.
Mhm.
You're gonna find that Sly's pretty loyal to people that have been in his
Yes.
other movies, right? So Joe Spinell
Yes.
has been in. There's a couple movies on this list that Joe Spinell has been in.
Yep.
Obviously, the Rocky movies, Paradise Alley, and we'll get to a couple more
Yep.
here in a minute. But Paradise Alley, 1978. If you haven't seen it, do yourselves a favor, check it out. You won't be
Yeah. Definitely
disappointed.
check that one out. Like I said, that's a little more of an underrated film. I
Right,
agree.
right.
So after that, we had Lockup. Lockup, the old prison movie.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. When this movie came out, I watched the trailer and I was counting down the days. This is when you had to wait like 6 months to get
Right.
this. Didn't come, it wasn't streaming. They didn't give you the option.
Right.
I was so pumped at this. I rented this on a Friday, and I watched it Friday night. I watched it Saturday night. I watched it Sunday night.
I'm telling you again, another underrated movie. You know, I think at that
Yeah.
point, he obviously he was well established. It was
Mhm.
early '90s.
Yeah, 1989 this came out.
It was '89. Okay, I thought
Yep,
it was '90s.
89. And then, we got,
I just thought it was a fantastic film. I
yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
football scene,
Oh,
I
goodness.
love. And the car scene, the
Yeah, so
Mustang.
we got Donald Sutherland, who plays the warden,
Mhm.
right? And he was, oh my god, like,
He
I
did a
hated him,
great
right?
job.
When the character is in a movie and you hate him so much, you
Yeah.
know that he's nailed the role, right? You got
Oh yeah.
John Amos, who plays
Yep.
the,
He's the
the
prison guard.
prison guard and, like, won't smile. You've got Frank McRae, another Rocky,
Yep.
alumni, right? So,
Yep.
again, you
Rocky
got him
II.
in the automotive shop. So
Mhm.
this one, Sly is in prison when the movie starts. He's in a minimum security. He's got 6 months
Mhm.
left. In the middle of the night, they drag him out of the cell, no reason, throw him in a truck, throw him into the prison, maximum
Yep.
security, where he finds out Warden Drumgool, and Warden
Yep.
Drumgool has a hate on
He is not
for
a
yeah,
fan.
for
And
Frank.
also, obviously, the inspiring underdog music is done by Mr. Bill Conti.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
So
loyalty again
yep.
comes into play here, but the struggles that he faces, because Warden Drumgool is not going to let him, Frank Leone, out of prison. He said, "You're going
Mhm.
to spend the rest of your
Rest
life
of
in
your
this
life.
prison,"
And you
because
really pissed him off, didn't
yeah,
you?
right. He said, "You're the only man to break out of my prison before."
Mhm.
Obviously, just a fantastic movie, from football in the
Yeah.
mud,
Yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't
working on
seen
that
it.
Mustang, right? So it's
Oh,
just a great
love it.
movie, a great
Good
movie.
movie.
What do you got
And
next, Tony?
after that, we have Cliffhanger.
Oh, cliffhanger, eh?
Now, see, I didn't see Lock Up in the theater. I
Yeah,
rented that.
yeah, I did
Same
too.
same
I
thing
did
with
too.
Paradise Alley. I rented that as
Yeah,
well. But Cliffhanger, I saw in the theater. And
right.
I'm glad I did, and it just happened to be coincidental. It wasn't anything that I
Hmm.
planned.
Yep.
But I mean, with this, cinematography with the mountains and everything, and it was
Hmm.
just it was a good action flick. It was a you know another root form flick type of deal. And talk about a villain, John Lithgow. Definitely,
Right.
you're not a fan of John Lithgow's in this movie, that's for sure.
Yeah,
You just-
Michael Rooker also in this movie,
yep,
right?
yep.
Just the opening scene in Cliffhanger,
Oh yeah, God,
where he's climbing up the mountain and they're coming up the helicopter. You got the other guide and hiker,
hmm
stranded on a mountain, and just that opening scene. Nobody expected a movie to open like
no,
this, where
no,
this girl, what
yep,
happens to her. Again, these
yep.
movies, I'm assuming everybody has seen them. If you haven't,
Yeah, I
we're going
mean,
to spoil
it's
it, but
it's unfair to. I mean, I guess we could give a disclaimer. Hey, look,
yeah,
we might be
yeah,
talking about things, but I mean, they're 20, 30 years old,
yeah.
guys. Yeah,
1993 people. If you haven't seen it, you
yeah,
probably aren't
exactly,
going to. But
exactly.
like,
But yeah,
just
definitely check it
high
out.
energy, and John Lithgow was so good as a
Oh,
a villain, right?
I
So
hated him in that movie.
yeah,
And
and
I
there's
hated
just
him, and I hated the
yep,
guy who thought he was the football player, the soccer. Remember he
yeah,
was kicking
that's right.
him.
Yep,
Oh my god, I hated that guy.
yep.
Okay, so next up we got one, and it doesn't really necessarily, I didn't take it as expendable, the first one, the original,
Hmm.
but the Expendable series.
Yep,
But the Expendables, the original, the first
yep.
one, not
Hmm.
Expendables one, people,
No,
this straight,
Expendables. That's right.
um, was better than the rest, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, this had to make the list. I mean, this was just a fun, action
Hmm.
movie, blow them
Yep.
up, shoot them up, all the action stars that are in
Yep.
it. It's just a fun movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say fun, but
Oh, it's a
you
fun
know what
ride,
I mean.
right?
It's action packed. It's
Yeah.
definitely not for the
Yeah.
meek, but
No.
it's a good flick. Good flick.
Yeah, 2010 Expendables, and the cast is the cast. You got
Oh yeah,
Mickey Rourke, you got Bruce Willis, you got
yeah.
Jason Statham, you got
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren, right?
Yep,
Randy Couture is in this. Jet
yep,
Li is in this.
yep.
Appearance by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger, a funny story about this. He was governor at the time, and people were a little bit revved up that he would agree to do this as a favor for Sly. They filmed the scene in the church,
Right.
I believe it was 5 o'clock in the morning because he wasn't on government time, right? It
Okay.
was a Sunday morning, 5 o'clock. They got the shadows right for him coming in the door. Didn't charge Stallone anything. Did a favor for Stallone.
Really?
Loved the idea of it. He, with Sly, I think maybe they talked that this wouldn't be the only one. So,
Right.
and the banter back and forth was, a little bit of macho,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
busting the balls kind of thing. They
Exactly. I
were
wouldn't
at
have
each other.
expected anything less.
Yeah. So you got, with that scene when you have Bruce Willis and Schwarzenegger and Sly all together, like that's the first time that ever happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the cast, and then you got them showing up at Mickey Rourke's, tattoo
But
slash
the
garage,
motorcycle
and he's
garage
and he's
tattoo
finishing the
shop.
tattoo on Sly's back, and Jason, Lee Christmas bugs him and says, "It still looks like a black chicken." He's like, "Chicken? What are you talking about? It's supposed to be a raven." So
It's
now
typical, guys
you can
ribbing each
see
other.
you can see a lot of the similarities and what Sly likes. He uses the raven from where he gets from Poe,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And he's got that on there, and he's got his own tattoos that he has on his shoulder. He finally gets to have a movie where he can have the tattoos, right? So, I mean, obviously, he doesn't have the skulls on there that he had in
right.
this movie, but covering up some of the family photos he has on his arms. But you know, and my one of my favorite lines is when he gives him a hug, and Mickey Rourke says, "Jesus, you like hugging a cold piece of steel, right? Don't you ever sleep, brother?" So I just loved it. And a
Good
ton of
film.
action, right? Stone
Yeah.
Cold Steve Austin's in this movie,
Yep.
and Eric Roberts plays the villain, right?
Yep.
So much. I mean, it is a
There's a
fun
lot
ride,
going on.
Tony.
There's a
It's
lot
a
going
fun
on.
ride. Yeah.
So after that, we have Raging Bull versus Rocky Balboa.
Oh
The
yeah.
grudge match.
Grudge Match. Another fantastic movie, right?
Which
Robert De
is so
Niro.
interesting because I love De Niro.
Yep.
Most film fans love De Niro. But if you
Mhm.
look at both of their physiques,
Yeah.
Razor would have no problem taking down.
No, that's right. Well, when you find Robert De Niro's character eating pancakes and whiskey, as he's starting his training when he meets his son,
Right?
he's not taking it seriously. He thinks
No.
he's still got it,
Yeah.
and he finds out pretty quickly that he doesn't. Now, Kim Basinger also in this movie,
Yep.
and Kevin Hart and Alan
Yep.
Alda, right? So
Yep.
great cast again. Sly always nails it with the cast, right? Like
Oh yeah.
bringing back the favorites, and just two aging boxers, 30 years past their prime,
Can't let it go.
and they can't let it go, right?
Can't let it go.
And in the ring for one more time. And the build up to the fight, like how they have to promote it together. They hate each other's guts, and they have to promote this thing together, right? So just a great fun ride, and the great one liners, and a lot of
Yeah.
fun, that one.
No, it is. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
After that, we're going back to the 70s. Back to the 70s with Nighthawks. And
Nighthawks.
and
Yeah.
again, in my opinion, a very, very underrated and a foreshadowing movie of a
Yeah.
lot of other stuff that happens.
Hmm.
Nobody thought terrorism could hit our country,
Hmm.
or it only is over in other countries. But
Hmm.
great film. I mean, Rutger Hauer plays an
Oh yeah,
amazing villain.
that's right.
Billy D. Williams, of course, Sly. Fantastic movie. It really
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Lindsay Wagner.
Hmm.
Uh, you
And
know,
Joe Spinell again.
and
We
Joe
get Joe
Spinell.
Spinell,
That's right.
so he plays their like lieutenant, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the scene where they're trying to chase this guy down, and nobody can catch the serial killer, and they're back. Him and Sly and Billy D. Williams are joking. He's come on, guys, take it seriously. And like he was before we lost Joe Spinell. He was on quite a roll with some of these movies, right? And
Yeah.
just
I
a
mean,
great
he was
great actor.
fantastic actor.
Hmm.
Fantastic. He just seemed like he was
Yeah,
just talking. I mean, he didn't really
yeah.
seem like he was acting. So, but
No, that's right.
very, very good film. Definitely check that out. Not
Yeah,
again,
Rutger
not to say
Hauer.
that,
How good was Rutger Hauer in that movie, right?
oh
So
my goodness.
yeah,
Oh,
like I
I mean,
said, I don't know if this is if he writes these roles and has certain people in mind, or they just, you know, I think he
yeah.
does. I
I
really think he
mean,
does.
he may. I mean, it's not unheard of sometimes for them. Hey, I wrote this role for
Hmm. Yep.
XYZ actor.
Hmm.
But also too, I mean, I'm sure he has a lot of input in casting.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
mean, if even if it wasn't written for Rutger Hauer, when Hauer's name probably came up, oh yeah, this guy, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and
Yeah.
steel look to him. Let's get him
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
So either way,
Well, I mean,
fantastic.
that's the advantage when you're writer, director, producer, right?
Yeah, you call it all. You call everything.
You have a little bit of pull. So
Right, right. And then after that, we go with a definite fan favorite of a lot of us, Over the Top. Over the
over the
Top with
top.
Mr. Kenny Loggins, 80s soundtrack king.
Yeah.
Meet me
1987.
halfway.
Let me tell you something. When I was in high school when this movie came out, and it was so popular that my friend actually built a arm wrestling table,
That's
and
awesome.
it had pads on it, so we could use it on the bus. Because, like I said, I grew up on an island, so we had a 20-minute boat ride. And then some days we get on the way home, you might get stuck in the ice.
Right.
And
Oh, jeez.
I think the one time we were going home, we were 3 or 4 hours stuck in the ice. They had to bring a tugboat in and go
Get
around. And
out. Oh
no,
my
I
God.
honestly, yeah. And so we had this arm wrestling table, and it had pads, so you could put it between your knees. And everybody, that's all anybody wanted to do after Over the Top
Oh,
was
that's
arm
so
wrestle.
funny. That's great.
Um, yeah, just a great movie. I think some of the lines that stick out to me is "The world meets nobody halfway." Right.
Oh,
So
halfway.
another inspirational quotes in this
Yep.
movie, such as life with Sly, right?
Yep.
So
Good music. Got Sammy Hagar with
yeah,
Winner Takes It All. And, good film.
yeah,
Good film.
yeah.
Fun film.
Now
Underdog.
speaking of Overtop, as many of you may know, my co-host from Florida has that Florida glow and the nice silver hair. So I just wanted to. Tony didn't know I was going to do this, but I want to
Ah,
show you a
wonderful.
picture
Now I know what you're
of
going to
Robert Lyogia and Tony.
do.
Now, let
Oh,
me
my
tell you, people,
goodness.
are they not twins?
Mr.
Look
Loja,
at
I
that, eh?
apologize about this. I'm sorry. I know you're not with us any longer, but
Yeah,
I'm so sorry, sir.
but I'm telling you right now, you're a dead ringer, right?
Well,
I'm.
I don't know if I told you the story about him as well. Stacy and Mike had
Mhm.
mentioned about the Loja look.
Yeah.
And my grandfather knows him or knew him.
Mhm.
Both my
Mhm.
grandfathers
Yep.
and Mr. Loja's gone, but they knew each other. They grew up in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he's a great actor. We lost a
Mhm.
great one there,
Yeah.
and I it could be worse, I guess. I'm not. I feel bad for him being saying I look like him, but
Yeah.
I'll take it. Whatever.
No, that's great. You ever get? Does anybody ever mistake you for him?
No.
No. All right, moving on.
Next subject. Last but not least, number
Yeah.
10 on our list is Copland. And this, to be honest with you, this was one of my favorite
Yeah.
non-Rocky Rambo films he did, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did a fantastic acting job in this. Stellar cast. I mean,
Mhm.
come on, you can't get a better cast than this.
Yeah.
It's just a great story, great film. I mean, those are the four big guys that are on the poster. You
Yep.
got a ton of other actors that are in it that are well
Yeah.
known.
The late
Uh,
Ray Liotta, right, was in this.
Ray Liotta's in it. I
Yeah.
mean, Harvey Keitel.
Mhm.
It's just a very, very good movie. Very
Right. De
good.
Niro again, right? So yeah, this
Yeah.
is just a great movie.
So that's
And
that rounds out our top 10. Again, these are in no order. No, like that's
no.
our number one non-Rocky Rambo movie. I mean, I
Mhm.
have others that are on there that we discussed previously that are a little honorable mention type of
Mhm.
ones. We don't have pictures for them, but films
Mhm.
like Victory or
Yeah.
Fist.
Yeah.
But again, those are older. I mean, Fist I think was 79.
Mhm.
I don't really remember the year exactly.
Yeah,
And then
Victory, I
Victory
think
I
was
think
about
was 82,
1980, 82,
81.
yeah. It was somewhere around there.
It was
Um,
pre-Rocky 3, but almost Rocky 3 time period because he was in that kind
right.
of shape.
Yeah, Get
But
Carter. Get
Get
Carter's
Carter,
another one.
that's another one. I
Um,
mean, like I said, the man has got quite the
mhm.
resume.
Yeah,
Quite the
even
resume.
some of this like Oscar. He was so good in Oscar, right? So it's such a comedic role in Oscar. Tango and Cash with Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
Um,
the buddy flick, that was like the, Lethal Weapon
yeah,
type of
yeah,
film. But I mean, Kurt Russell and him played off each other really well, and
yeah, that's
it
right.
was it was very well done. I enjoyed that movie. That was a fun movie to
Yeah.
watch.
Oh, it was. So like Tony said, guys, you know, put a message in the chat and tell us what your top 10. Tell us what you thought of our top 10. Like I said, no, they weren't in a particular order. They were just
Yeah,
movies that we we really enjoyed, and we really enjoy talking about them too.
And I'm
So
sure there's a ton that, someone like, oh my God, like Cobra's probably one of them. How could you not have
yeah,
Cobra on that list? And I actually
yeah,
just watched Cobra about 2 nights ago.
yeah. Cobra is a great movie, right? So I mean, you think you're cool, but you're not cool unless you're cutting pizza with scissors, right?
Taking it right out of the fridge.
And I mean, some of the lines from Cobra when he comes in at the supermarket, right? And the guy says, "I'll blow this whole place up," and he says,
Oh,
"Go
shop here.
ahead, I don't shop here." I loved it. Like
Well,
I
that was that.
absolutely loved it.
That was
Right?
that time frame where every action
Yeah.
movie had to have it wasn't like the "Make My Day" Dirty Harry line
No,
anymore. It
that's
was the
right.
sarcastic, funny "I'll be
Yeah,
back" and
yeah,
those types of lines, which did make for fun, in the '80s
yeah.
action movies. I
Well,
don't
he
care. I
comes
don't
out,
shop
right? He
here.
comes out, and the reporter says, "Did you use unnecessary force?" And he says, "I used everything I had." You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't hold back. He doesn't
He
like,
doesn't.
he's not supposed to be talking to the reporters. They
Right.
ask him a question, they answer it, right?
That was another. Yeah, like I said, I just watched it like 2 nights ago. I think it was. I was flicking
Yeah.
around.
A
Nothing was
great,
on.
great car chase scene in that
Yep.
movie.
Car chase. A couple
So,
good songs too. They had a couple
mhm,
good songs in there.
yep,
And then of course Bridget Nielsen was the damsel in distress,
mhm, mhm,
and she was in it. And but yeah, it was a fun movie to watch. It was.
yeah.
I'd like to ask Sly how he breathed when he had those jeans on, because they were quite tight, my friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite
Well,
tight.
to be fighting with in them
I
too,
mean, he
right?
could pull
So,
it off, look the shape he was in,
yeah,
but my goodness. That's
yeah, that's right.
But I'm sure there's others on there, like I said, that we either missed or just, you can only
Yeah.
have so many in a top 10. I mean,
Well,
you can mix
we
and
couldn't
match
do the
them.
Rocky and Rambo top 10 because it'd be, 5 Rocky movies and 5 Rambo movies, and the list would be over. So
Exactly. That's
we
it.
gotta
Good night.
be, there's so many good movies, and if yours didn't make the list, please let us know and make a case for it, and maybe down the road we'll make another top 10 list
Yeah.
because Sly has that many movies, people.
Oh God.
Uh,
We
we
could
can
do
make we can
top
make the top
50.
10. We can make the top 10 lists,
Yeah.
right? So,
Actually,
uh,
that might be an idea. We could do the top 10 '70s, top 10
mhm.
'80s, top 10
Yep,
'90s. He
yep.
has that many
And then
movies.
if you're passionate about it, let us know. We'll break down an entire movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Message it either here on this show, or message it on the Instagram. Message
Mhm.
us directly. Gmail, we have, round 14 the podcast at
Yep.
gmail.com. You could email
Yep.
us. But yeah, we could look into however many more we missed, and maybe some just absolutely belong there. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that the list is right or wrong.
Yeah. I just don't want
So
anybody screaming, you didn't put Cobra in there. You didn't put Cobra in there. Where's
yeah.
Get Carter? So it's like we love them.
Well, Judge
we could
Dredd's
hear
not
all
in
night.
there either, and Judge Dredd's another one.
I love Judge Dredd. Rob Schneider and Stallone
Mhm.
there. Action. He really, he really ties in the action and a little bit of comedy
Yeah.
there too. The Rambo. He doesn't touch on the comedy. It's
Well, you
all
can't with that
it's all
character.
no, but
Just.
but there's some movies that he's a really funny, right? Like when you
Yeah.
see him on Saturday Night Live, when you see him on TV shows, like he has got a comedic side, and you see him on his
Oh,
Instagram,
absolutely.
right, with his kids.
Absolutely.
And I see Demolition Man is one of those ones where I think that would be like him. You pull a guy from the 80s, you put him in 2037, you're gonna get, he's gonna tell you what he thinks of things.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not gonna do protocol, and he's not
Well,
gonna.
think about it. To put it into our time frame right here. If
Mhm.
you took a
Yep.
guy from, the '60s that went
Mhm.
to Vietnam,
Yep.
and was a cop or something, brought
Mhm.
him out to here, I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about some
Oh, yeah,
make people laugh.
straight to HR. Straight to HR.
It's a one-way ticket.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of others guys, like we said, just Judge Dredd. There's Rhinestone. I mean,
Yeah.
Rhinestone.
Oh, Rhinestone.
is-
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, thank God it's sliding
him and
into
Dolly
the.
Parton, right? So,
Oh my goodness,
he said he had a lot of fun
Frankenstein.
making that movie, right? So,
Frankenstein. There you go.
and here's one I'm gonna do honorable mention. So he was the producer of uh Saturday Night Fever, right?
Oh,
Or
Staying Alive.
Staying Alive. Sorry,
Staying
Staying
Alive.
Alive.
Who's the director?
Excuse me,
Director, producer.
director.
Yeah.
So he's actually he has a cameo in that movie, and
Yeah.
if anybody's seen it,
Yeah.
it's what, maybe 5 seconds.
If that.
And so if you've seen it, let us know if you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, or you didn't know he was in the movie. Watch it again
Mhm.
and see if you can find him, because the way they did it, It's perfect, right?
Yeah.
You blink and you're gonna miss him.
Yeah. We'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say. It's in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's he had a little cameo in there
Mhm.
to show off. But and he got John Travolta in shape for that movie. My
Yeah,
goodness.
that's right.
John Travolta never looked that muscular and
No,
lean. He
no.
was yeah, but that was a pretty good film, I thought,
I
actually. And
know
Frank Stallone was in it.
yeah, I know that that's on my wife's top 10 list.
Well, the funny story about Frank Stallone's music in that is supposed to be all Bee Gees,
Right.
all Bee Gees all day.
Mhm.
And something happened with the Bee Gees. They didn't want to use certain songs. They wanted to just write this, that, whatever. Long story short, Frank had already written some songs. He's like, let
Mhm.
me do these. Next thing you know, he's got 3/4 of the album, you know,
Right.
award nominating songs, Far From Over. And so it worked out pretty well for Stallone, Frank, that is.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a you know what? We could get into that too. There's a documentary that is unbelievable, right?
Oh, I
Stallone,
loved
Frank
it.
that is,
And
right?
also, too, he's another one that you really don't realize how much he's done unless
No,
dive deep
no.
into his career. I
Mhm.
mean, Frank has done, yeah, we all know him and Take You Back on the Street Corner, and then of course Staying Alive, where he was the guitar player.
Yeah.
Remember, remember when Travolta says, "You all right? You're in good hands here." He's like, "What do you all state? What do you want?" He's like getting smart with him. You
Yeah.
want anyway, but he's in that. But he has a lot of films to his credit.
Yeah.
He did a lot
That's
of
right.
movies.
Mhm.
So but yeah, Stallone, Frank, that is. You definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out. That's a fun documentary.
Mhm. No,
Fun
that's great.
documentary. But this is a good show, though, my friend.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Like
Top 10.
we did some prequels. We put ourselves in the director's chair. We broke down some movies. We're talking about, the legacy of Sly, and I mean, he's not done, right?
Oh God,
Like
no.
he's the Tulsa King comes out in
No, you
November.
got the
You've
Tulsa
got
King coming
Expendables
out. He's
4.
doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Hmm.
he's
He's
got a,
doing
he's a lot going on.
Yeah, got Expendables 4 coming out later this year.
Mhm.
They haven't released a date yet. They just say 2022. So look for that. And a lot of the cast is returning for that. One more ride with the boys.
What do you think about with Expendables 4? Do you think here's my theory on it, I guess I
Hmm.
should say. I
Hmm.
mean, because he's not there for the whole filming of that
No.
movie. He was
Yeah.
there very brief.
Hmm.
My thought is he's kind of like Christmas is taking over
Hmm.
and he's taking a step back into the Bruce Willis church role,
Yeah.
especially since Bruce
Or
Willis
yeah.
unfortunately cannot do it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Hmm.
That's
Uh
my
I,
guess.
I think you're pretty close to that. I think
Yeah.
um it's going to be interesting to see how they work it into the story. Is he in
Mhm.
it from the beginning? Is he not in it at the beginning and the team tries it and then they have to
Mhm.
pull him into it? Because
Right.
I look at it the other way. I look at, the years have passed and the team is aging a bit.
Mhm.
Well, Barney Ross.
Well, and
Let's say Barney Ross is
you got the younger crew,
right. You
that
got the younger
kicked in.
crew. So what I think, and I mean I could be wrong, and we're going to start the movie without Sly.
Mhm.
And you're going to, because they never tell you, he says, he went on Instagram and he said, I'm leaving, and Jason was like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's abandoning us. They don't
Mhm.
tell you what they did. They just tell
Right.
you that he's not in it always.
And he's also not up in the high list of being in the credits either.
That's right. So my theory, and this is the fun part of the show. We can talk all
Yeah.
about how we think. I think that they try and do something and they realize we need Barney Ross.
Right.
So they get Barney Ross, they get Bigger Trout Mauser, who's Schwarzenegger, and
Yeah.
they go back, they pull these guys out of retirement, and they say,
Right.
we need you for
They
one more
might.
ride. So
Or, they might that I mean, it sounds like it would make sense too. I mean, who
yeah,
knows? And then, of
yeah,
course, you got the worst way that you'd want to happen where
yeah.
Barney Ross gets killed,
Yeah, but
you
like I
know?
said, it's I think we're all waiting for it. We're all excited. I'm excited. I love the Expendables just
Yeah.
because this was a time where, like, individually, I've watched all these guys. You got Mickey Rourke, and you got Dolph Lundgren, you got Bruce Willis and Schwarzenegger. You even had Chuck Norris and Jet
Yep.
Li. I've seen all these movies. Jean Claude Van Damme.
Yep.
They've had so many movies to pull them together. Mel Gibson, Kelsey
And you
Grammer.
could
Like,
also talk about the people that they haven't pulled in.
no, that's right.
There's a ton more of action stars that have not been in there that
Mhm.
could be. I mean, Carl Weathers is one of them.
Right,
Carl
Carl
Weathers
Weathers,
did,
yep,
Action Jackson and Predator, and
yep.
he could be in there.
Kurt
There
Russell, right?
Kurt
Bring Kurt
Russell,
Russell in,
you know, he
right?
definitely could be in there with the Escape to New York, Escape to
Mhm,
LA.
mhm.
There's definitely some more, and then there's other women.
Right.
Cynthia Rothrock, do you remember her?
Yep. Well,
Cynthia
what
Rothrock,
about,
the Karate Girl.
yeah, what about The Rock, right? Like
Yeah. Oh
Dwayne
yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people that would probably be chomping at the bit to be a part of this crew, right?
Yeah.
With these guys are legends, right? These guys are
Oh,
80 action stars, and they're still doing it, right?
isn't
This is
that
the funny
crazy?
thing. Like, they're still making these movies, and, you know.
That's just great. I mean, that's just crazy that next month Sly's going to be 76 years old.
Mhm,
And he's running around with a machine gun making a movie.
mhm.
It's like it
Yeah,
just blows my mind sometimes. That they're
yeah,
still doing it. So
yep,
it's crazy, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We'll see. So yeah, guys, leave comments down below.
mhm.
Message us on the Instagram channel. Let us know about your top 10. Let us know how come these two morons did not include A, B, and C on their top
Yep.
10 list. And we could chat about it again. Like you said, Tim, we could have a million of these top 10s. He has so
Oh,
many films.
yeah, so good.
So good stuff. All righty, my friend. Well, anything else we got going on? Otherwise, we call it a day.
We call it a day and go have a cold drink. We hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, we love bringing this to you every week. And, the top 10 was so much fun tonight, Tony.
It was.
I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go watch Paradise Alley.
There you go.
Just to,
So you
it's,
have it?
oh, absolutely. I have it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great movie. And, yeah, just a very underrated movie for its time. Right. So,
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah,
mhm.
go watch that one. But yeah, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks again for the support.
Yep.
Mr. Stallone, Sly, if I
Hmm.
may. Thanks again for following us. Um, it was good stuff. And
Yeah.
leave us some more comments, leave us some suggestions,
Hmm.
criticism, whatever you want. And
Yeah.
otherwise,
We're open
you
for
know,
anything.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
open for anything.
Otherwise, we will see everybody next week for
Yeah,
episode 5.
episode 5.
We
Thanks
leave
very
it there.
much, guys.
See you guys. Pleasure.
See you guys.